What's going on? What's going on, Ultimate Guy? Let's see. It's Wrestling Magazine Flipthru. We got Inside Wrestling, February 1988. Before anybody asks, no, this is not for sale. That Macho Man cover, and then the Rock and Roll Express with Tully and Arn here is just too cool to give up. Plus, this beeline to success Sting's plan for UWF domination. Come on. You know? You got Tully Arn, you got Sting, UWF, and you got Macho all on the cover. Fuck yeah, I'm keeping this one for me. Let's see here. For the publisher, Pro Wrestling Illustrated Victory Sports Series. A special analysis by Jesse Ventura. Randy Savage has wimped out. Tully and Arn take the NWA belt. It's time for the Rock and Roll Express to split up. Beeline to success. Sting's plan for UWF domination. Buck 75 in the States, 225 in Canada. No beardless, shirtless Doug McKay ad. All the ladies out there and some of the men are disappointed. And some people don't claim to be either. So we get the Michael P.S. Hayes with the badly bleached hair. Old Ronnie Garvin locking in Ric Flair in that, whatever that was. Paul Ellering. Hey, as of filming, I am a few days away from meeting Paul Ellering's daughter, Rachel. She's working in my local independent. This won't be up, so I ain't gonna say the date and shit, but it'll be. It's the last show of the year for Value Independent Wrestling. Bringing Rich Early, take on Cassandra Gold. They got a couple They got their big title, which is like the Southern Heavyweight title. That's on the line, and a big grudge match. There's a big four-way match for the Deep South Heritage title, which at one time had some kind of NWA lineage. The promoters explained it to me one time, and I don't really remember, because this was an NWA Fed at one time, before Corrigan took over. And then they were putting their tag belts, having a four-way match for that. Oh, the tapes. $45. Just can't believe they were that expensive. Mad Dog Vachon. Greg Valentine. Strike. I was a huge Strike Force fan for some. Bulldog Bob Brown. I don't think I've ever seen Bulldog Bob Brown ever. Like, ever that I could think of. I'm thinking. Hold on. No, not that I can think of. Just like Earthquake Ferris, I think I might have seen him once. I like some AWA reruns on, ESPN Classic or something. Hogan whipping old Eddie Elder. Oh, I love the opinions expressed in the SR. Those Eddie Elder alone do not necessarily represent the opinions of anyone else on the staff of this mag. Because he supported the heels. I love me some Eddie Elder. I remember Dan Shock not as well as Elner. Fake ass Liz Hunter. Editor's note: last month, Liz Hunter presented an interview with Ronnie Garvin conducted before he won the NWA World Title from Ric Flair. This month, the top Garvin, the champion, conducted shortly after Hands of Stone pinned Flair in Detroit on September 25th to win the belt. Okay, made up. This is the now infamous ad for the two women's Joshi, basically Japanese women's pro wrestling Joshi tapes, and one's called Slant-Eyed Slaughter, and one's called Riot of the Rising Sun. So one of them is really badly offensive. The other one's like, okay, yeah, that ain't great either, but it's better than this. It's like, okay. Ooh, shit, it's like, damn. Both of those ain't great, but love it. And I don't ever see these tapes anywhere. I don't no videos. I don't ever see them in video stores. Nobody remembers ever mentioned seeing these. So I guess these didn't sell. And they weren't that much, were they? $30, $33. So for back then, not horrible. Matt Brock, plain speaking. Old made up Matt Brock. Here we go. Where are they? I always like this insert where they pick four wrestlers to tell you what they're up to now. Darlene Dagmar, the midget wrestling star, was a legend in the early 70s, but married later in the decade and retired. Dagmar is currently employed by a public broadcasting station in Columbia, South Carolina, where she and her husband live. I'm very happy now. I have no plans to return to wrestling, said Dagmar. I love wrestling. I love the chit-chat fans, but it came time to settle down. Well, good for her. Hell yeah, work for PBS. PBS stations are these little tiny. Columbia, South Carolina is not a tiny town. I actually lived in Columbia, South Carolina for a while. It's not a very small town, but all of these PBS stations, a little town. Like there's one in Bude, Mississippi. Bude is 10 minutes up the road from me and more rural than where I live. I'm like, wow, there's a channel here. Like it's so close you can take your antenna input on back of your TV and take a paper clip and unfold it just a little bit, stick it in that hole, and you will pick up PBS. Pedro Morales. Morales, the only man to ever win all three WWF titles, the World Intercontinental Singles Belt, and the World Tag titles with Bob Backlund, has been missing from recent WWF cards. The popular Puerto Rican veteran has worked his way up the corporate ladder, is now a talent and publicity agent for the WWF. He plans to wrestle occasionally and keep in good shape. Reports that he won't go after another major title. Okay. Let's see what we got down. Manny Fernandez. Fernandez, a two-time former NWA World Tag Team Champion has been on the move since him and Rick Rude lost the belts to Rock and Roll Express early last year. The Mexican star left the stable and manager Paul Jones left the NWA behind and signed a contract to wrestle in the Mid-Southern area. That is Memphis. You know, you hear Mid-South, think, oh, Mid-South. No, that is Memphis for some unknown reason. I guess because the arena was the Mid-South Arena. I don't know. I have new goals. From now on, I'm on my own, and I'm after the Southern and International Singles titles. Corporal Kirshner! Why does he sound like a car? The patriarch of American wrestling failed to strike a big in the WWF after years of trying and has now decided to wrestle for Stampede Promotions in the Western Canadian provinces. He has already allied himself with Ricky Sensation, Owen Hart, and Declare Ward on Gama Singh, Muckin Singh, and Jason the Terrible. Owen's one of the best scientific wrestlers I've ever seen, and we're going to get rid of those scoundrels, said Kirshner. All right, Dale, I know you watch these. Did you see, were you watching? Yeah, hold on, what year is this? Oh, yeah, your ass is still in Canada. Sorry. You were still in Canada. Were you watching Kirshner going, yeah, Kirshner, Kirshner coming in here to team up with Owen Hart. Were you hyped, Dale? Were you hyped for Kirshner? Did Kirby Kirshner ever right? Did he end up playing Leatherface? He had Leatherface versus Jason before the Tops comic. Ronnie Garvin. I never gave two fucks about Ronnie Garvin. Like when he came up, because when he came up, WWF was after us. When I'm like, oh, who gives a fuck? It's Ronnie Garvin. He's feuding with Greg Valentine. Who gives a fuck? Sting's planned for UWF domination. Ever since the arrival in the UWF, Sting has been working for greatness by most wrestling networks. Now with two pro years and Eddie Gilbert behind him, Sting has a plan to realize his incredible potential. I'm not, that's the weird thing, I'm not that big a Sting fan. I'm a Sting fan from his like Mid-South UWF run, I like his Memphis stuff. And like his early NWA Crockett stuff, but once you get past about 92, 93, I just don't give a shit about Sting. And I sure don't care about Crow Sting. Sorry, not Surfer, Crow Sting at all. Like, after the Starrcade 97's when I gave up on WCW. That match right there, that match between him and Hogan was just so bad, I'm like, oh, fuck this shit. And I've been, for a while, decent. So I was never the biggest WCW fan because my little kid brain. Little kid, I was. I'm not going to say how old I was. When they bought UWF and just kind of fucked it, I'm like, oh, fuck WCW. I'm going to watch WWF and anything else. Like, come on, fuck WCW. They killed UWF. I kept that up for years until, like, I think it was when Watts came out. I got back in WCW. Wrestling and Rick Steiner. They had a good tag team for a while. This is why I loved Inside Wrestling. The Roll Call of Champions, where you got, instead of just getting your top 10, you got top 15 for NWA, AWA, WWF, top 15, most popular, most hated, and tag teams, and you Roll Call of Champions. And I would like comb through this shit and be like, ooh, wait a minute. I heard of Birmingham. I might be able to talk Dad to drop him to Birmingham because see Dr. Tom Pritchard. He just won a belt there. And you pour through the Japanese thing, you'll never see this stuff. And AWA. And you wonder why I like the British Commonwealth's in Canada. You didn't know what a Commonwealth was, of course. And Central States, you're like, who the fuck is Earthquake Fairs and Bad and Bart Batten? Sorry. Had a wee little bit of a burp there. Nelson Royal, still NWA Junior. I've kind of fallen out of. Who was their tag champs then? Tully and Arn, because the Road Warriors had the sixth man. Mike Miller's the Pacific Northwest champion. Ooh. Super Ninja, man, Pacific Northwest is on bad terms this time. Dennis Condrey and Randy Rose, man. Where's the Midnights at? There it is, Bobby and Stan. There was some where it was like All Japan Women or something like this. There's one of these like Monster Ripper held this fucker for years. Like years. It's time for the Rocco Express to split up. Tully and Arn take the NWA belts. A series of thoughtless actions and reactions caused Rick Morton and Robert Gibson the NWA tab belts, and Meisenheimer, North Carolina's hard questions are asked and answered in was all over the Rock and Roll Express. Sorry, James. Midnight's beating up the Rock and Rolls. Once the most hated man in WWF, Randy Savage is now friends with Hulk Hogan is being cheered by the fans, but is the Macho Man making a grave mistake? In this Inside Wrestling exclusive, WWF TV commentator Jesse Ventura takes a look at the new Randy Savage. A special analysis by Jesse Ventura. Randy Savage has wimped out. Kevin on Eric, I only see good things ahead. So, this time Mike's dead and David's dead, I would guess. So it's down to Kevin and Kerry, and then Chris comes in, because Chris is a few years later. Chris was a lot younger than him, or was it just because he had the asthma and he was so small? He was tiny. Paulie Dangerously. I wanted Lawler and Dundee to win the AWA belts. You might have thought it was over. Paulie's Dangerously feud with Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee is as hot as ever, and now the manager of the original Midnight Express is ready to strip his arch rivals the AWA World Tag Belts. Let's Lawler give me a thumbs up. One of those AWA belts is sitting in Lawler's Bar and Grill on Beale Street in Memphis. I want to say AWA on it. I don't know if it's the tag or what. I don't remember. I have to look at my pictures. Great place to go if you're a Southern wrestling fan. The food is what. Okay, it's a slight bit overpriced, but it's about what you expect at a place like that. But you go to see everything. Like Randy Hales is working the bar. They have like old Memphis footage on the TV. Or Jerry used to come down there. Oh shit! 1-on-1 between Mighty Wilbur and Paul Jones. Don't give a fuck. There's a good Jim Cornette picture. I actually heard a lot of Jim Cornette the other night. I fell asleep watching something on YouTube, and the Jim Cornette podcast episodes on YouTube with the the little graphic. It went over in that, and like for the 8 hours I slept, they'd wake up me like in the middle of Jim Cornette talking about last for a bit. I'm like, oh, I kind of don't remember this episode. Oh, I remember this episode. Paulie Dangerously. Is he busting the phone on him? Yep. An infamous Kamala with Hogan's head on the. That is one where good luck finding that for a decent price. That thing is expensive. See, Sports Radio Wrestling, I never really bought it. I think it might have been a little bit more. I got a couple of issues, but I need to go look online, see if I can find a handful of those for just see what the difference is. Because with Inside Wrestling, the big difference is your rankings ain't at the back. They're 15 instead of 10. Oh, look at that Ric Flair shirt and sweatshirt and muscle shirt and everything else. And that was about it. That was their big thing. They were 15 instead of 10, had the Roll Call of Champions. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed that. If you did, yeah. Go watch y'all some wrestling you love. Life is too short to watch wrestling you hate. You sit there, you're one of the fans that every Monday night's watching Raw, and you ain't enjoyed Raw in years, which I've been hearing Raw's gotten better. I've been hearing that from a lot of people. Okay, cool. Or if you're watching, you were like me, and watching AEW Dynamite, and going, man, you know what? I'm not enjoying this at all. Now, part of that, yes, is I had to watch it on demand, which meant I couldn't fast forward through commercials. I couldn't fast forward the show. I had to sit through every segment. I'm going, 3 segments in a row where I don't give a crap about anybody on the screen, pretty much. Or there's people on the screen I hate so much I don't want to see anybody else. So, yeah. Go watch some wrestling, y'all. That's why I'm sticking to. I watch my Impact every week. I watch WoW. I watch in Japan. MLW's back. Ring of Honor comes back. I'm trying to get back into Memphis, Hollywood, or whatever they call them, the Hollywood branch. And maybe some reality wrestling. If AWA, Alabama Wrestling Alliance, comes back, I'll watch that. They did like 2 episodes and they had some issues. But I'm out, everybody. Laters.